Picture this. You wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and see that stubborn belly that just won't budge no matter what you do. You've tried every diet, every workout routine, every so-called miracle solution on the internet. But here's the shocking truth that nobody talks about. The belly fat you can see isn't even your biggest problem. There's a hidden enemy lurking deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your vital organs like a toxic blanket. It's called visceral fat, and it's silently pumping inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream, setting you up for heart disease, diabetes, and even early death. But here's the game-changing part. This dangerous fat is actually the easiest to eliminate when you know the right strategies. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the exact science-backed method that can help you destroy this deadly fat in just 30 days, and the results will shock you. Most people think all belly fat is created equal, but that's completely wrong. There are actually two distinct types of fat around your midsection. The first is subcutaneous fat, which sits right under your skin. That's the jiggly stuff you can pinch and grab. While it might be frustrating from a cosmetic standpoint, it's relatively harmless. But then there's visceral fat, the real villain of this story. This fat wraps around your internal organs like your liver, pancreas, and intestines, creating a toxic environment inside your body. What makes visceral fat so dangerous is its metabolic activity. Unlike subcutaneous fat that mostly just sits there, visceral fat acts like an evil chemical factory. It constantly releases inflammatory molecules called cytokines into your bloodstream. These toxic substances travel throughout your entire body, causing inflammation in your arteries, disrupting your insulin sensitivity, and dramatically increasing your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and type 2 diabetes. Even more alarming is that you can have dangerous levels of visceral fat without looking obviously overweight. You might appear relatively slim on the outside while harboring a toxic fat bomb inside your abdomen. This is why some seemingly healthy people suddenly develop serious health problems seemingly out of nowhere. The visceral fat has been quietly wreaking havoc for years without any obvious external signs. The good news is that visceral fat responds differently than stubborn subcutaneous fat. While you can't spot reduced regular belly fat, visceral fat is actually the first type of fat your body burns when you create the right conditions. This means you can see and feel dramatic improvements in your health and appearance much faster than you might expect. Now let's dive into the specific foods that are secretly feeding your visceral fat. Most people focus only on total calories, but research reveals that certain foods directly promote visceral fat storage, even when calories are controlled. The first major culprit is saturated fat, but not in the way most people think. This doesn't mean you need to eliminate all saturated fats, but you should keep your intake under 20 to 30 grams per day. To put this in perspective, a single fatty ribeye steak dinner can contain nearly 50 grams of saturated fat, which is almost double the recommended daily limit. The key is balance. Instead of eating fatty cuts of meat every day, limit them to once or twice per week, and choose leaner options most of the time. Swap ribeye for top sirloin, and you immediately cut 15 grams of saturated fat from your meal. Focus on getting most of your daily fats from sources rich in unsaturated fats. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel should become regular staples. Nuts, seeds, avocados, and olive oil are excellent choices. These foods not only avoid promoting visceral fat storage, but actually support better metabolic health and fat burning. The second major dietary villain is added sugar, specifically the fructose component. Before you panic about fruit, understand that natural fructose in whole fruits comes packaged with fiber and water, making it nearly impossible to overconsume. The real problems are table sugar and high fructose corn syrup found in processed foods. These concentrated sources of fructose bypass your body's natural satiety signals and get rapidly converted to visceral fat. You'll find these hidden sugars in obvious places like sodas, candies, and desserts, but they're also lurking in seemingly healthy foods. Granola, flavored yogurts, fruit juices, breakfast cereals, condiments, and even salad dressings often contain shocking amounts of added sugars. A single bowl tea can pack 50 grams of sugar, which is more than double the daily recommended limit. Rather than trying to eliminate every source of sugar, which is practically impossible, focus on strategic replacements that can actually help reduce visceral fat. The most powerful replacement is protein. Protein works its magic through multiple mechanisms. First, it has the highest thermic effect of all macronutrients, meaning your body burns more calories just digesting and processing it. Second, protein triggers the release of hormones that promote satiety and reduce appetite. Third, adequate protein intake helps preserve lean muscle mass during fat loss, which keeps your metabolism elevated. Here's where it gets practical. Instead of completely overhauling your diet, make smart swaps that replace sugar with protein. If you're addicted to sweetened coffee, try mixing protein powder into your morning cup instead of sugar. Replace sugary snacks with Greek yogurt mixed with protein powder. Create protein-rich versions of your favorite treats using sugar-free sweeteners and creative recipes. The goal isn't perfection, but progress. Every gram of sugar you replace with protein moves you closer to your goal of eliminating visceral fat. Aim for at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight daily, and spread it evenly across your meals to maximize its fat-burning and appetite-suppressing effects. Creating a calorie deficit remains the most important factor for eliminating existing visceral fat. The beautiful thing about visceral fat is that it's typically the first fat your body mobilizes when energy is scarce. Even losing 10 pounds can shrink visceral fat by up to 30%, which is the closest thing to spot reduction that actually works. Your individual calorie needs will depend on your age, gender, activity level, and metabolic rate. Rather than following generic recommendations, pay attention to how your body responds and adjust accordingly. Start with a moderate deficit of 300 to 500 calories below your maintenance level and monitor your progress weekly. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to create too aggressive a deficit too quickly, which leads to muscle loss, metabolic slowdown, and eventual rebound weight gain. A sustainable approach that preserves muscle mass while steadily burning fat will give you much better long-term results. Track your measurements, progress photos, and how your clothes fit rather than obsessing over the scale. Visceral fat loss often shows up as a tighter, flatter midsection before it registers as significant weight loss. Your pants will fit better, your energy will improve, and your health markers will start improving even before you see dramatic changes on the scale. Exercise plays a crucial role in visceral fat elimination, but not all exercise is created equal. While you can't reduce regular belly fat with crunches and sit-ups, specific types of cardio exercise seem to have a special affinity for visceral fat. Recent large-scale research identified 2 types of exercise that are particularly effective: moderate to high-intensity steady-state cardio and interval training. The key is reaching above 75% of your maximum heart rate, which triggers the release of catecholamines. These fat-mobilizing hormones seem to have a direct line to visceral fat stores. This doesn't mean you need to torture yourself with exhausting workouts every day. Short 15-25-minute interval sessions performed 2 to 3 times per week can create measurable improvements. Here's a simple protocol you can follow. Choose any cardio exercise you enjoy, whether it's running, cycling, rowing, or even dancing. Warm up for 5 minutes at an easy pace. Then alternate between 30 seconds of hard effort and 90 seconds of recovery. During the hard intervals, you should be breathing heavily enough that holding a conversation becomes difficult. Repeat this cycle 6 to 10 times, then cool down for 5 minutes. On your non-interval days, focus on accumulating at least 8,000 steps through walking. This low-intensity activity is easy on your joints, doesn't require recovery time, and steadily chips away at visceral fat over time. The combination of high-intensity intervals and daily walking creates the perfect storm for visceral fat elimination. Don't neglect strength training either. While it may not directly target visceral fat like cardio does, resistance exercise helps preserve and build muscle mass during weight loss. More muscle means a higher metabolic rate, which makes it easier to maintain your results long-term. Stress management is an often overlooked factor in visceral fat accumulation. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, which directly promotes the storage of fat around your organs. High cortisol also increases cravings for high-calorie, high-sugar foods, creating a vicious cycle that makes visceral fat loss nearly impossible. Implement stress reduction techniques like meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, or any activity that helps you relax and unwind. Even 10 minutes of daily meditation can significantly lower cortisol levels and support your fat loss efforts. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night, as poor sleep disrupts hormones that regulate hunger and fat storage. Sleep deprivation increases ghrelin, the hunger hormone, while decreasing leptin, the satiety hormone. This hormonal imbalance makes you hungrier, especially for high-calorie foods, while reducing your body's ability to recognize when you're full. Poor sleep also impairs insulin sensitivity, making it more likely that carbohydrates will be stored as visceral fat rather than used for energy. Create a consistent sleep schedule by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bedtime, as blue light interferes with melatonin production. Consider supplements like magnesium or melatonin if you struggle with falling asleep. Hydration plays a supporting role in visceral fat elimination. Proper hydration supports optimal metabolic function, helps control appetite, and can even boost your metabolic rate slightly. Often, what we perceive as hunger is actually dehydration in disguise. Drinking a glass of water before meals can help you feel fuller and naturally reduce calorie intake. Aim for at least half your body weight in ounces of water daily, more if you're active or live in a hot climate. Start your day with a large glass of water to kickstart your metabolism and help offset the dehydration that naturally occurs overnight. Certain supplements can provide additional support for visceral fat loss, though they should never replace proper diet and exercise. Green tea extract contains compounds called catechins that have been shown to specifically target abdominal fat. Fish oil supplements provide omega-3 fatty acids that support healthy inflammation levels and may help reduce visceral fat storage. Probiotics are emerging as another potential tool for visceral fat reduction. A healthy gut microbiome appears to play a role in regulating fat storage and metabolism. While the research is still developing, including probiotic-rich foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi in your diet may provide additional benefits. Now let's put this all together into a practical 30-day action plan. Week 1 should focus on dietary changes. Calculate your calorie needs and create a moderate deficit. Replace high-saturated fat foods with leaner options and incorporate more unsaturated fats. Identify your biggest sources of added sugar and make strategic protein swaps. Week 2 adds the exercise component. Start with 2 interval training sessions and aim for 8,000 daily steps. If you're new to exercise, begin conservatively and gradually increase intensity. Your body needs time to adapt to new demands. Week 3 introduces stress management and sleep optimization. Implement a consistent sleep schedule and try at least one stress reduction technique daily. This is often when people notice significant improvements in energy levels and appetite control. Week 4 focuses on fine-tuning and creating sustainable habits. Assess your progress and adjust your approach based on what's working best for your lifestyle. The goal is to create a system you can maintain long-term, not just a temporary fix. Throughout this process, be patient with yourself and focus on progress rather than perfection. Visceral fat didn't accumulate overnight, and it won't disappear instantly either. However, the health benefits begin almost immediately as you implement these strategies. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more science-based health and fitness content. Share this video with anyone who might be struggling with stubborn belly fat, because the information I've shared today could literally save lives. Drop a comment below and let me know which strategy you're most excited to try first. Your engagement helps more people discover this life-changing information. Thank you for being part of this community focused on real, sustainable health improvements.